Hit Monkey, that's not going to be enough. Not going to be enough. We're going to get another dub here. Look at this. This deck is rolling. This deck is absolutely rolling. Let's go. That's what I'm talking about. That is what I'm talking about. Holy cow. Hello, hello, hello. TM24 here, and we are back with some more Marvel Snap content. Now, I have a new deck for y'all. This one is going to steal you some cubes. It's going to win a lot of games. Ton of surprise factor on turn 6. Fairly easy to play as well. So we're going to talk about this deck. We're going to talk about how to play it, and you're going to see these games right here next to me showing what this deck can do. Now, I just want to start off by saying, like, these games... So I was trying this deck out, right? I was trying to put some things together. I was like, let's see if we can use Valkyrie in a cool way. So I just started playing a few games. And then next thing you know, I'm starting to win a bunch of games. I'm like, okay, hold on. Let's see if we could do a video on this deck. And that's how this came to be. So I'm sure y'all have heard of the Dracula dump. And if you haven't, I believe I did make a video on it, and I'll link it right here. But essentially, there's a deck that runs Dracula and a bunch of one-drops that you're trying to dump down. It's got Khazar, I think it's got Red Skull, things like that, to make the most out of Dracula. Well, I thought, what if we could make the most out of Valkyrie, right? We don't have to get rid of our hand, but there are definitely cards that we could play with her that are going to give us the advantage. So I started thinking, you know, zero-cost cards, low-cost cards, cards that Valkyrie can, you know, benefit from here. And this is what we came up with, right? So we've got both of the zero costs. We've got both Wasp and Yellow Jacket. And the reason we've got both is because they're free, right? We can play those on turn 6 along with a 1-drop and Valkyrie, and that will steal us a lane. It's just huge. It's so strong that, you know, I don't even know what to say. You can go and take a lane that they've got a giant lead in, and you can just flip that, and there's nothing they can do. It feels amazing. Next up, we've got 3 1-drops. The Hood, Sunspot, Ant-Man. All right, so the Hood, real benefit is that Demon. You can play that Demon alongside that Valkyrie, and you're feeling great. Sunspot, you want to play Sunspot early. You want to play Sunspot on 1 if possible. Ant-Man, another great option to play with Valkyrie on turn 6 because of his ongoing. You're going to fill that lane. So everything is going to be 3 except for Ant-Man, meaning you'll win that game. We've got armor in here to protect our Sunspot. So we want to get Sunspot down on 1, armor on 2. You can see we don't have any 3-drops, and we've only got a couple of 4-drops. We've got Spider-Man and Attuma, right? Spider-Man is going to be filling the same role that Professor X is filling, just not quite as well. Attuma is there because if you can get Attuma down on that armor lane, you potentially won that lane already. Maybe you get Attuma down onto his own lane and follow up with the Professor X on 5, and you've won that lane. So that's the goal. The goal is to have 1 lane already won by turn 5. We've got other tools in case we don't hit Professor X, or our Spider-Man isn't going to be enough. We've got Iron Man. You can double up, you know, your Sunspot armor lane, and because you're passing fairly often, you know, turn 3, sometimes turn 4, you know, Iron Man might just be enough in that lane as well. I like to include Kang in this so that I can get an idea of what my opponent's got going on. I don't think Kang is by any means crucial in this deck. I think you could definitely make a deck without him, and it'll be just fine. Next up, we've got Professor X. Like we said with Spider-Man, Professor X is there to lock down a lane on turn 5. You want that lane already won, and then Valkyrie is our big play on turn 6. So turn 6 will come around. You've got Wasp or Yellow Jacket typically in your hand, then Ant-Man or your Demon. You're dropping, you know, all those cards on turn 6, and it's going to win you the game. It's going to win you that lane. So let's just run through this real quick again. Turn 1, Sunspot if you can. Turn 2, armor on top of Sunspot. Turn 3, you're passing. Turn 4, Attuma or Spider-Man work, as long as you've got Professor X in your hand, because like we said, you want to win a lane on turn 5. If you don't have Professor X, hold your Spider-Man for turn 5. If you if you don't have a Tuma or Spider-Man, passing again is not a terrible idea because you're gaining 4 more on that Sunspot as long as he's down. Turn 5, ideally Professor X locking down the Sunspot lane, with turn 6 being Wasp, Yellow Jacket, Valkyrie, and, you know, a Demon and an Ant-Man. Whatever you need in order to flip that lane. And I'm just saying, this deck is fun. It's got surprise factor with it. You know, they don't think you've got a chance, and all of a sudden you're pulling out the win out of nowhere. You can see in this game here, I'm getting ready to play, and I'm like, you know what? Let's just take a quick peek at what they've got going on. We're going to toss Kang down. And now we're waiting on them. Kang's great because you get an idea of what they're going to do, and it makes them second guess their own play. So you'll see here that, you know, he had a plan here, and it was actually a really, really nice plan. But because we got to see what's going on, he's going to end up changing his mind. So his Black Panther comes down, 20 power. He would have won that lane. He would have won Xandar as well. He would have won the game. So here, Kang really came in clutch for us. Now, like I said, he isn't always crucial. You know, potential replacement for Kang, maybe Daredevil on 5. That'll help you lock down a lane with Professor X. So, you know, if you can get Daredevil, not a bad idea. Otherwise, I don't think you need any more power. I think you have enough. You can see here, we worked out the plan, right? Even if he goes Black Panther in that middle lane, it won't be enough with Ant-Man there. And we still had, you'll see here, we have Wasp, we've got Yellow Jacket, and then Valkyrie to come over the top and flip that lane for us and get us the win. It feels great. And it feels flexible. It feels like you can go with the Demon or the Ant-Man. In this case, we played our Hood early, and that's great because you've already got 1 card there. That means you only need 2 other cards plus your Valkyrie. So if you pick up just a Wasp or just a Yellow Jacket, then you're good to go because you've already got your Demon in hand. They will feel like they have already won that lane because you have -2 power there and you haven't cleared it. And, you know, again, surprise factor is huge in this game. People are not expecting this deck. They're not expecting you to play 4 cards on turn 6 to flip a lane that they're up by, you know, 15, 20, and it feels great. So we'll kind of talk through these games here. We get the ideal start, right? We've got Sunspot, we've got armor, we see Shuri's lab, and we're like, do we play our Hood? Do we not? We're gonna play it because we want that Demon, so that we can play that with our Valkyrie, which we're still hoping to draw in this case. They come through with the Green Goblin, and, you know, I'm not too happy because they now flipped that, but also if we hit our Valkyrie, it doesn't matter. That Green Goblin isn't -6 anymore. Here, Atuma comes in handy. We're going to drop him right into that armor lane, and that is going to be huge. Literally, it's going to put us up by, you know, so much power that, you know, we can just focus on our next couple of plays. They get Warpath to come on down, and that's a very nice play again. Our Atuma is nearly the same power as their buffed Warpath. So we got our Atuma down, and it's time to lock that lane, and we're going to go into turn 6 hoping we draw our Valkyrie here. That's the plan. We want our Valkyrie so that we could flip either our Hood or our Green Goblin, one of the two, and decrease their power as well. So that's the game plan. We'll have 1 lane already won. He locks Shuri's lab, which is huge for him. So he's got a lane, I've got a lane. It all comes down to this last one, and we hit a rock. So we know we're in trouble. But the good thing is we could still fill that lane. We can still put, you know, we can add 2, 6, plus 4. But we've already got -2, and we're going to do a minus again because of our Yellow Jacket. You see, we start to play, but we know we ordered it wrong, so let's do it the right way. Yellow Jacket, Demon, Ant-Man. He tries to come over the top with the Hobgoblin, but we filled our lane. And we still ended up putting 9 power down, even though we started with -2. So that's a Chavez right there, which is that's just huge, huge. So we get a win there when we didn't hit our Valkyrie. So you can still get wins without hitting that key card. Rickety Bridge coming here. The hood comes out. We want that demon. We've already got Ant-Man ready to go. We see a Tuma, but we still need some of those 5 drops. And that's what we're waiting for. But the Rickety Bridge is going to be great for us in this game because of, we get to get rid of our -2 on the hood. So that feels good. We're getting it down. We're just waiting on them to make a play here. I think I remember this game, and I'm pretty sure they're playing a destroy deck. So good for them. But the problem with destroy decks is that they tend to go tall as opposed to wide, and Valkyrie is going to be huge there. You can see, as soon as we get her, we're taking a peek at her. We're like, yes, we know. That's what we needed. They've got Wolverine. We're not too worried about this. Turn 3 comes. We don't have any real plays, and that's fine, We didn't hit our Sunspot. We didn't hit our armor. They hit Electro, and now I'm starting to think maybe they're playing something other than, just a destroy deck. I'm like, is this some sort of weird Galactus deck? But nothing I can do about it other than I have Valkyrie and I have Iron Man held back, ready to go. You can see here, we're looking for our way to lock down on turn 5. We're trying to make sure that we have a lane 1. So we're getting a Tuma out there into Monster Metropolis. He's probably going to be the most power there. And we're just hoping that, we can make sure that we have that lane. So Tuma comes down, and we're feeling pretty good. We've got 13. We have, I don't remember if we have priority or not, but we are going to play our Professor X there either way. You can see the rest of our hand. We've got Wasp, we've got Valkyrie, we've got Demon. You can see I pointed them out before our turn 6. That's our plan. We're going to go into Mojo World. We're going to play Wasp, then we're going to play Valkyrie, then we're going to play Demon. They played 2 cards here into Monster Metropolis, and I am worried. But we end up canceling each other out. So I'm like, okay, that location is tied. All we got to do is win Mojo World. If they win Rickety Bridge, whatever. Them being a destroy deck, we know that, potentially they're going to be destroying cards. Our play remains the same. Ant-Man is already down. Wasp, Valkyrie with Demon coming over the top. And they use a Venom in Mojo World. Doesn't make a whole lot of sense because if you have more cards there, then you get that plus 100 power. So obviously we are going to have more cards there than them. They put a bunch of power down, but again, even if it wasn't Mojo World, we still would win that lane, and we would still win. It would be 18-6 and 8-0. We would have won on power difference. So again, huge. This was a crazy game. I saw Sinister London. I saw Wasp, Yellow Jacket, Valkyrie in hand, and I'm like, okay, let's try something crazy here. Let's see if we can do something just absolutely wild. See if we could pull off the combo twice in one go. So that's our plan here. We have our armor. We're going to get him down, her down, it down. We're getting the armor down regardless. And then we're waiting. We're waiting to see what they got going on. We're just hoping that they can't mess us up in any way, because that's the one thing. They end up snapping here, and I'm like, okay, I know what I've got. I know I've got a really, really nice turn 6. The one thing I'm worried about is potentially if they've got, an Electro Sandman in their hand ready to go, then I could be in trouble because we wouldn't be able to play all of our cards on turn 6. Picking up Spider-Man is huge because now we've got a plan, right? Turn 4, we Spider-Man on top of armor. Turn 5, we Professor X on top of that. So that's the plan. You can see it. I snap right away. Spider-Man's coming down, and we know that Professor X is going to be there shortly. We just got to hope, and Electro does show up. We just got to hope that they don't pass too much so that Sunspot becomes a problem. Luckily, we'll be at 9 power here. He would have to pass, either this turn or next turn. He'd have to pass quite a bit in order to actually win this. So we feel fine at just slamming our Professor X down. Maybe we could have went with something different. Maybe we could have, had a completely different line here. Went Spider-Man into Professor X on Sinister London. That probably would have won us the game as well, but we're trying to pull off this play here. And when we see Leader come out, we know that we are in good shape. We know they're trying to add something. They couldn't do it, right? And we have our full combo ready to go. We've got Yellow Jacket, Wasp, Sunspot. We wish it was a Demon or Ant-Man, as it would give us the win. but we're already up in Vormir, so it would be tough for him to win. At a minimum, we should tie the other 2 locations. You could see, you know, we thought about it. It's the same play. It doesn't make a difference. They Odin. And I'm laughing because all they're getting out of that is a Valkyrie that hurts their own cards here. So they get their Valkyries down, and they know what's coming from me. And the fact that we played 4 cards and, you know, they couldn't do it, we pulled the combo off on 2 lanes. We're going to win them both, and this deck just is fun. It's really, really fun. The surprise factor when your opponent thinks that they've got it won and you pull out, you know, 4 cards on turn 6 to flip a location they thought was over, it feels great. This game here, you know, we've got options. We've got the hood we want to get down. Because the sandbar is up, we want to make sure that we have something that can get into that location. So that's why we played the hood right away. Again, we feel fine just passing. You know, we don't need to make a play as long as we have a turn, you know, a lane 1 by turn 6. Here we start to worry a little bit, right? We've got a Tuma, we've got, you know, Demon, we've got some cards we can play, but we don't see Professor X, we don't see Spider-Man, and both of those are huge when it comes to winning, you know, locking down a lane. Finally, we hit Professor X and we're like, okay, this is fine. We can go Atuma right into Professor X on turn 5. We've even got Yellow Jacket, Ant-Man, and Valkyrie already in our hand, ready to go. Thing comes out, it's 8 power, but Atuma's just more power than that. Atuma's just bigger. And then Professor X is going to come through and lock him out there. So we feel really, really good about where this game is heading. Abomination comes down on the sandbar. They probably won it, but turn 6, we're not worried, right? The most that they can do is add to the sandbar. Maybe they're adding 1 to the thing. Maybe they're adding 2 to the thing with an onslaught. But then we're going to win this location anyway. An onslaught does come down, but we've got Wasp, Ant-Man, and then Valkyrie to flip it all again. And look at that. Another victory that we just pulled from out of nowhere. He had Pet Mansion, he had Sandbar, but we ripped them both back. It's just, I'm telling you guys, this deck it's worth giving a shot if you've got the cards, because it's super fun. It's got that surprise factor. I haven't seen anyone play anything like this yet. And, you know, it can get you wins. It will steal you cubes. People will think that they have won, and they will snap. You can happily take your 4. You can snap back at them if you want to try and take the 8. They might just, you know, they might not believe you. They might think you're bluffing, and you'll get 8 then. So, either way, we'll talk through this game again, and, you know, you can see here, we've got Sunspot, but that's all we've got right now. There's not a whole lot else we've got going on. We're reaching the point where we've got to start playing something, so it's time to get Spider-Man down. Try and lock them out of Monster Island if possible. It's another Patriot deck. They're starting to get their cards down. You know, we know we're in a little bit of trouble here, but this is why we've got Iron Man in our deck, because he can help win us games that otherwise we probably wouldn't win, right? Iron Man comes down. We've got 24 power there. It's going to be really tough for him to match that. What's really nice about this, and the nice thing about having Kang, is we get to see their last play, and that's what we want to do here. We want to take a peek, see what they're doing, see if we are good in Monster Island, or see, you know, if we need to take the, you know, the mines. You know, we don't have a chance in the sandbar. We can't get there, but Kang shows us that, hey, we've got enough. His best play puts him at 12 power in the Vibranium mines, and we know we can do much more than that. We know he can't play into Monster Island. We're circling that. We know we've got Ant-Man ready to go, so we can go ahead and feel free to just go Wasp or Yellow Jacket. Well, actually, they could play into Monster Island, but if he puts his Ultron there, it's still not going to be enough power in Monster Island, so he doesn't flip that. Now, he doesn't know we've got Valkyrie, so maybe it would have been enough in the mines if he did that. But he makes his same play. We're okay with it. Our Ant-Man comes down. We're already going to win it because of Valkyrie coming through, putting us at 15. He's at, you know, he's at 12 there. He gets his little +4 in Monster Island, but it honestly just, it's not enough. It's another game that maybe we shouldn't have won that we did. So again, if you've got these cards, you've got Valkyrie, you've got, I mean, almost everyone should, you know, pretty much everything else is not that expensive, which is great. Atuma, maybe you don't have him yet, but you could always go with something like a Warpath, or maybe, you know, I wouldn't, Jessica Jones probably doesn't cut it, but if you're up in a lane, it could be, let's see here. Let's see what another replacement would be there. You know, maybe, you know, Warpath, not a terrible option there. Maybe a Crossbones if you're up in that location. So you've got a couple other options. Kazar, he might be interesting as well because you do have a couple of 1-drops there. But, yeah, if you guys have these cards, definitely look at giving this deck a try. It's going to be one that surprises your opponent and wins you cubed. So give it a shot. And if you've hung around till now, please hit that subscribe button and like the video. But until next time, have some fun.